Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. This is The Amateur, where we're here to talk life, hobbies, ideologies, politics, what have you. And on today's episode, I'm going to be reacting to a short clip that was put out by Daily Wrap-Up Crew of women hitting men. And this is probably one of the most infuriating things for me. This is probably one of the most infuriating things for me, especially coming from a Christian perspective and Christian background. But I'll go ahead and I'll play the clip so you can see what I'm talking about.
You already said you're abusive, so
I like hitting.
Why is that?
why?
Okay.
You don't want no soft.
That ass. I don't know.
So that's why y'all like hitting?
Yeah.
I don't need him.
But how did,
So he can hit you back.
No.
So you me?
If you hit me back, we're fighting him.
So you can me, but
So you're not winning that battle now.
Listen, I'm kicking your. I'm not playing. I'm doing everything. We punch you with something. It's not gonna hurt.
That didn't look like it hurt. That video,
He's about to cry.
Nah,
he said
like,
this, and his eyes is watering.
But
Wow. So wait.
first of all, nobody's doing all that. I'm sorry. You got to get dragged to something. It's not.
So he should have dragged her?
Yes. He could plus something calm. Nothing crazy. Nothing crazy.
And you heard it out of the horse's mouth. Like, stuff like this just irks me because I know. Okay, so one is like, I know that we ought not put our hands on one another. Keep your hands to yourself. That's what we learned as children. Keep your hands to yourself. Don't respond out of anger. Even when provoked, don't react in anger. But I hate this dynamic. I mean, I get it. Don't get me wrong. I get it. Like, I get this dynamic of the power play between men and women because men are stronger. They just are. Their punches are going to hurt more. Even if a woman is, trained in that skill and that fighting set, if they go against someone who's just bigger, even just bigger than them, it might not have been as trained, they can still knock their butt on the ground. And with stuff like this, is I don't get why women like to provoke men like this. Like, that honestly irks me. And so I hear this equal rights, equal lefts. And just so you know, this is like one of the things that it irks me a little bit with Christianity, because I know we're not supposed to. Like, I know we're not supposed to, and I don't like to encourage it. Sorta. I don't like to encourage it. I had this discussion with my sisters earlier, but it's just something where, like, I know from the Christian perspective, we are supposed to turn the other cheek. If someone strikes you, turn the other cheek. We're supposed to be slow to anger. We're supposed to be patient. We're supposed to not let ourselves be provoked, so not be moved out of emotions. We're not supposed to, We're not supposed to fight, not necessarily fight back, but we're not supposed to take revenge for ourselves, because the Lord said that revenge is His, and that whoever has wronged you will repay. And we're just supposed to trust that and have faith in that. And for me, it's just one of those things where, I don't know, it's not what I think is not the right, it's not the biblical right, and I know you're not supposed to. And for this, what I would say is, if any man is put in a situation where a woman is like, the first time a woman puts her hands on you, leave the relationship. It's not going to get any better from that, and that's just going to help save your sanity and your own emotions, and not have you be provoked. Because when a woman, like, especially when she's like just putting her hands on a man like that, or just hitting, if a woman hits you out of anger, hits you out of spite, hits you out of frustration, hits you out of for any of those reasons, like, it's just, no, just leave the situation, leave that relationship, because she doesn't respect you as a man. That's for sure. That's one of those things there. And then, like, I would recommend, like, if it gets into one of those, like, yelling, shouting matches as a man, just, turn the video camera on, just so you can have that evidence for yourself that you weren't the one that was initiating and escalating that situation any further. Because that has been issues, especially in the media, where, women will literally go crazy and people take the woman's side because of that construct where she is expected to be the weaker of the two, supposedly, even though it's like they're weaker, but they're not weak. You know what I mean? It's like, if a woman wants to hit somebody, it can still hurt and be painful. And it's just one of the things that's like not worth the time. But then it's also something where, I don't know, because I know like for a lot of women, they are not going to hit a man hard enough for their life to be in physical danger where it's grounds for self-defense, or even something like pushing her away is considered to be still too much power back against the threat or against the attack. I don't know. I just, again, I just don't advise, just keep your hands to yourself, one. Like, no one do that. I kind of was a proponent of, like, don't start a fight, but finish it.
No. That's a fucking female. I don't care. You want to be a man? I'm going to treat you like a man.
It's not biblical. It's not biblical, so don't listen to me. Don't listen to me on that. But it's just, it's just frustrating. And like, I'm not a man, but I don't like that. I don't like it. And it's so something like how I like to picture and how I like to view things is like, on the one hand, it's like, you know, you had David and Goliath, and you had, you know, the smaller man going up against the giant and still defeating him, but he had the power of God and anime on his side.
I have the power of God and anime on my side.
Wait, power of God on his side. But I don't know. It's just like common sense stuff, and this is what I don't get with stuff like the police and civilians and those interactions with them. And I think I may have mentioned this in a previous video, but it's just like, I don't know. It's like take something with Kyle Rittenhouse and the whole idea of self-defense, where Kyle Rittenhouse is clearly holding a weapon. He wasn't being threatening with it, though some argue the weapon is the threat itself, which not quite. And like the way that I look at this is like, if you see someone is out skilled or out weaponed than you are, is to not attack. I mean, that's kind of like the whole idea behind weapons of mass destruction and the idea behind deterrence. It's like, because you have just as much, if not more, firepower than I do, so I don't want to use my power, you don't want to use your power. It kind of creates this stalemate almost. But it's something where with Kyle Rittenhouse and his whole trial and his whole ordeal, where he had 3 grown men going up against him while he was clearly holding a weapon, and then beating him with skateboards or trying to grab the weapon and then using it to fire. Like, he fired the weapon that he had, like he has it for a reason, and when he's actually actively being attacked, he used the weapon to stop the threat. It wasn't meant to kill, but it did in one. I think it was two. Did 2 of them die? Or I think 2 of them. One of them passed. I know one of the guys passed. But like, the weapon was used to stop the threat, not necessarily intended to kill, though killing was a byproduct of the action of having to stop the threat. So in that case, it doesn't make sense for these men to go up and attack somebody who is clearly out-weaponed than them. And that's why I call guns the great equalizer, because it equalizes everyone. It allows you to shoot from a distance and all that other stuff. But then it's also, you look at it and it's like, if you as a man, like if you're like a smaller man and you have this, like, and you see this in like videos where like the girl's like, oh, this guy hit on me in the gym, and the guy's like this big buff dude, and her boyfriend is like a little bit more scrawny. I don't want to say scrawny, but just not as muscular as a big guy. And he's like, okay, what do you want me to do about it? Because I'm not about to go up and fight him. Like, I'm gonna get my butt handed to me, you know. And so it's just like men understand that dynamic, as far as with, you know, if someone is you know, outskills you, outweighs you in some aspect of another, they have some sort of upper hand because they weigh more, they have more muscles, they're stronger, and or they have more skill and are trained more. Like, you can be as buff and skilled as you want, but if you're going to go up against Jackie Chan or who's the other guy? Lee. My pop culture escapes me. Don't judge me. But anyway, like, if you knew that you're going up against Mayweather or Mike Tyson, like, if you knew you were going up against someone who outskilled you, had better like skills, like, you typically wouldn't unless the cause was actually noble and like you knew you might have failed, but you're not gonna just stand there and let nothing happen. You know what I mean? So it's just like men look at this and they weigh those options. Like, is this something that is worth having that handed to me? But with the dynamic between men and women, where there's this whole thing of men don't hit women. Men are not allowed to hit women. Men don't hit women, and then it's like, well, men and women are equal. So like, it's like if I hit a woman, it's like hitting a man. That's not the case. Men and women aren't equal, but it's this struggle. So then women think they can just hit men and nothing happen, and often it does, as far as that they're not getting their butts handed back to them, or else the man gets charged with domestic abuse and domestic violence. And I just don't like that women think they can just throw that around and use that against men. Like, that's just so disgusting. It's so disgusting. Like, just don't do that. It's like, one, this is your partner, especially in these situations, like, respect him, maybe. Just a thought. Two, control your freaking emotions. You don't need to lash out in violence and in physical harm against your partner. But then it's like, for the men, it's just, again, if a woman does that, if she reacts like that out of anger, she has not displayed much self-control. Doesn't respect you as a man, because she doesn't respect you as a man. And then it's just also, because like that was also the case with Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, and their whole case that has been put on blast in the public, as far as with Johnny Depp was the victim. He was clearly the victim of a maniacal, abusive woman who literally cut his pinky off. Like, the frick? Oh my gosh. And so it's just like, with stuff like that, like, oh my gosh. Think very, 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 very closely about the people that you're choosing to be in a relationship with. Watch what they do. Don't get engaged in sexual actions. You do need to see how they react when they're angry. I think that is just important, so you have an expectation of how they're able to control their emotions, or not control their emotions, but control how they respond to their emotions. Like, for myself, when I was upset with my ex, like, I didn't like to, and he didn't understand this. I think this might be also part of the problem, where men have this expectation for women to just kind of explode emotionally. I think I might have said this before, but that was my problem with my ex, where I didn't like to do that because I didn't want to respond out of those negative feelings and negative emotions. And for me, I just needed more time to fully comprehend what caused that, why I felt the way that I did, and so that I could address it appropriately. And so I would just kind of go into myself before opening back up and saying, hey, this is what happened, this is why I didn't like the way that you said it. And, you know, just like being an adult, have a conversation, communicate like you're supposed to, use your words, not your fists. But Lord, oh my goodness, stuff like that just pisses me off. It pisses me off, people. Women, keep your hands to yourself. Don't hit men. Men don't hit women. Just be adults. Use your words. Use your mouth to speak. And again, men, if you're ever in a situation that a woman puts her hands on you, like in any way, like even if it didn't hurt and you can laugh at it, like, no, that's not it. No, ma'am. No, sir, no, ma'am. No, sir, no, ma'am. But yeah, I don't know. I couldn't watch the full video that it came from because I don't have age access, right? I can't verify my age account on my account, which is like stupid. And I don't know why it's not letting me do that. But in summary, man, if a woman puts her hands on you out of emotion, leave the relationship immediately. Like, that's not worth your sanity. Again, you deserve to have someone who respects you in the relationship, I think. And if you don't think so, I mean, that's on you. Women, keep your hands to yourself. Don't provoke people to anger. Equal rights. Don't get equal loves, even if you might want them to. But those are just my thoughts, and I'm just an amateur, and I know it's a take. It's a take. Yeah. Anyway, Let me know what you think in the comments. Make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe, and I will catch you in the next video. Thank you for watching.